Now here's another long exercise. It's the same as the exercise before, but this time it's an upright painting. This is what you call portrait upright, where the other one was landscape, long ways. Do the same thing as the first one. Have your very pale background where you're painting in white with a little tint, and your foreground, clean your brushes very well and paint your foreground in full colour, and then add a little bit of white. You might want to do a little one, and then after a little bit of practice, do a bigger one.
Okay, so now we'll paint an upright painting of a rainforest. Start again in the middle, crisscross brush stroke. This time I'll just put the white on instead of the green on first, and then pick up a little bit of the phthalo green and rub it through there. A nice clean palette, clean board, clean shirt, and ready to go. Crisscross. Don't fiddle around with it. Just put it on like that. Pick up your white. I got softer white down here. Remember, if you're painting in oils, to thin your paint, because it is too thick when it comes out of the tube. It's just too thick to paint like this with oil paint usually when it comes out of the tube. You need to thin it with terps or any thinning medium that you enjoy using. Crisscross, and leave your brush strokes like that, and do that all over your board to give it an undercoat. And because we'll have quite a bit of water in this painting, keep your water down low. Keep it down low so you get a long look through the bush, and so you're looking down on the water. And use horizontal brush strokes on the bottom here. Go right across to the edge of your board and fill this in with your white undercoat ready for your water. If you're in oils, do exactly what I'm doing too, and blend a little bit of green from underneath up into the water, but keep that white area there. So in there the water will be. I'll clean my brush up here and continue. Bit of green, unload my brush, and plenty of white. Crisscross, crisscross, just to give us an undercoat. That white's got a few lumps in it. Always a little bit dark in the corner. Just go a little bit dark in the corner. Just a little bit like that. Crisscross, crisscross. Try and get all your board cover with your undercoat, but keep this motley effect and keep a couple of bright glows here and there. Just a couple of bright glows so it looks like there's something in there, like that. Finish off down the edge here. So that's our undercoat for our background, more or less. There's a little bit here of mist. I'll get it a bit dark up there. Bit of green, and fill in the bottom to give us a bit of perspective. We'll have a dark spot at the bottom here. Put all my green down there. That's the phthalo green. There's another green too. There's Prussian green. We'll do the same effect as this. Now with my brush dirty, we'll see if we can get something happening in here, just a little bit of something. A little bit of bush there or something. And then I'll change brushes in a moment, but while I'm using this big brush, I'll just clean my brush by filling in the odd spots. A little bit of this and that here and there. Leave our glow there. We'll have a glow there. And maybe we'll have another glow here somewhere. Another bit coming in here somewhere. Well, let's have some sunlight coming in. Like that. That needs a little bit more white. Yeah, let's have a few streaks like that. If there's too much, we'll cross it out later. And keep the white in the water. Crisscross down here. And pull it down into your water like that. I've lost some of my white there. I'm going to put another lot of white back in the water. I do want this brilliant glow in the water. You'll see later that that's what attracts your eye to the picture, is this brilliant glow in the middle of the picture. And it works every time. It's very useful. So I'll keep working with this brush. I'll pull it to a bit of a sharp point. I'll pick up a bit of the green in the white. It's not too dark. About a medium tone. And maybe we should have it a bit streaky, so out like that. And then let's detail something that might look like ferns. Ferns are about, oh look, I've got two ferns with one brush stroke. That's good. Let's pull it to a shape where I can control it a bit more. Load it again. Yeah, get that ferny shape. Oh, if I load dark and light on it, that's more handy. Now this is only a very misty background. You can't see much happening here, but we do want this ferny look where they're coming in like this. Yeah, here we are, the light and dark. You see the light and dark? We need that effect. And it's all we're doing is blocking in the background. We're not detailing anything now. I must get right up against my edge here. And sometimes it's better if you're working on a canvas that comes out here. You can cut your canvas off later. It's much easier to work on sometimes. Load the brush again. There. Now if I deliberately load my brush with dark on that side and light on this side, I'll get this ferny look like that. Because it's a bit closer, we can do that. Can't do it in the background. We need those lighter ones in the background, but we can have this ferny look here. While we're near the water, we might as well put it down here in the water too. And bring them down into the water. There they are, in the water. Bring them down and across. And then clean my brush here. I'm sure to get a ferny something happening here. There. And because that's a pathway there, I would like a bit of something like that there. Takes your eye back into the picture. A bit of dark along the edge of the water. Now this is purely the background, as I say, and you can detail it later. So get it on first. Don't go too dark. We've gone a little bit too dark here, but we'll get away because there's only a little bit of it. There's not too much of it. And we've still got our sun streaming through here, which looks good. Across to the other edge, and I'll clean the brush here again. We'll do the same thing. Down into what will be the water. Something in the water. Down, down, down brush stroke. And across. Of course, if you're working in oils, do it very lightly. But do exactly what I do here. Lightly. And if you're working in oils and you have a problem, you can always take it back with your knife. Scrape it off with your knife and do it again. There's no reason why you shouldn't do that. If you do scrape it off, it's not a mistake. Some artists do that to create the special effect they want. And you can get good water and sometimes good skies by doing that too. By scraping it off. Down in the water again. And I'll run a white glow across the water. Now up towards the top, I'll blow my brush again with the light and dark. Watch out, see the dark spots there. Get rid of them. Knock them back. We've got plenty of time to put dark in later. So knock them back and just get this mottly effect like it's all scrub and bush. You don't really know what's there. It's just a jungle. It's a jungle with stuff coming down. And it's very sort of misty and hazy. That's a bit of a secret what's in there, isn't it? So, and up in the other corner also. Finish my painting right into the corner. Make sure you get the corners. Nothing more annoying than coming back to touch your corner up later. I turn the brush over then, that's the white coming off underneath the brush there. It's giving me a rather good effect. Also these brilliant white bits, dab them back too. We don't really need too many brilliant white bits in the background. There's a bit missing there. Oops, not enough paint on my brush. Here we are. Well, that's our background. Don't fill it in too much. Don't keep going until you can't see anything. Leave your streaks through there. Now, this is a size 10 flat brush, this one. It's a great little brush. I've loaded dark and light on the brush. Dark on one side, which is the full green, the phthalo green, and the white on the other side, pure white. And we'll put our branches in. I'm using the side of the brush. I'm not using the brush flat, so the white will come off on the inside. If I'm painting on this side of the picture, I'll put the white on that side of the brush. That side of the picture, the white on that side. So my white is always on the inside of my picture, which will track your eye into that side of the tree and into the picture. With these curves, well, we start in the middle. We shouldn't do, but we will. Right in the middle and bring it down. And you slowly push your brush on harder as you come down. Make these pleasant curves. Softwood rainforest trees are very curvy, where gum trees are rather jagged in their shapes. The softwood trees seem to have this nice curvy effect. The gum trees seem to go like this. Here we are. And reflection in the water, like that. My brush is clean enough to just bring over like that. Otherwise you might want to use a clean brush to do this. Just give that little reflection in the water. I'll load again. Start up the top again. The white on the inside of the tree. Nice little curvies. Get down. Oh, that's a nice tree. I don't know what sort it'll be. Now that one's slightly too dark. I'll lighten it a bit because I do want to keep my darks for the foreground. And that one too. Well, we can do this quickly. There's no need to take the time. You can put them in. If they're no good, you can change them. We'll change them around. Through there. Soft one back there, you can hardly see. Let's have one now. I'll turn my brush over so the light's on the other side of the brush, you see. He comes in there somewhere. He's very soft. He disappears behind that bush, that one. And another one here. Maybe one back here somewhere. There's not much paint on my brush now. My underneath paint's dry. So if you're working oils, just pull a dry brush through there. You'll get what you want. Ooh, a bit more white. We have a strong one here. Something strong. There. They all seem to be at the same angle. That's okay. There might be a gap through the bush here and they're all leading in towards the gap. That's okay. Get that. Light on that side. There. Another one here. A few back there. Something there. Across there. They here have a reflection over there, I'd say. This one here, this one. Yep, there we are. Brush again. Oh, I'll lay my brush down here. I'll put a rather dark one here, I'd say, to keep my eye into the picture again. But remember, we've still got our foreground ones to go. And unload a little bit of dark. I turn the brush over there so I can unload a little bit of dark off there. Now, we can have a little bit of detail on the bottom here now. Bit of light, bit of dark. Let's have something here. Into the water. Make reflections of it. That didn't work, that reflection. Let's do it again. Oh, that's a bit better. Not much. That's it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Darken it in. Make sure all your board's covered. There's a few spots missing here like mine. It's easier with this little brush to fill in those spots. Bit of dark, bit of light. You can have your water disappear up here too if you want to. You can have water in there. Put a bit of water in there. Something like that. Just subtly so you think it looks like it goes up there. And the bank comes like that. Now I've loaded my little round soft brush. It's a soft haired brush with dark on one side and light on the others, and we can twiddle in a few branches. Be careful not to light. 2 fingers and you'll balance your brush between the 2 fingers and you'll get this thin line. And we can detail a little bit of happening up here. And move across the top first. We'll do the top and then get a lot of branches happening up here to stop your eye travelling off the picture. So if we break it all up, we make it like a gate or a fence here that you look up and you can't see any further because there's too much happening. You look past it. And that'll make your picture like a trap for the eye. This one here and coming down into the picture. And while we're here, we might as well have a few vines hanging. And we can put some foliage on this later too. Now you see those lines don't make any sense? That's okay. Often when you look into the bush, that's what you see. A few more this side. That's a little bit dark, so I'll run over him with the light. Dull him down a bit. There. Of course, they are a little bit jagged, curvy and jagged and curvy. And something across here. Don't know what it is. Maybe a vine hanging. A few more coming into the picture. Always try to bring them into the picture. And we block off this area up here and up here. Block that off too so it can't be seen. You can't get past there. You stop and you have to look back into here. And another trick to trap the eye also is to bring a line, a distinct line back into the picture. Like that. That doesn't make sense there, so we'll darken it up. And it could go up into a tree up here somewhere that we can't see. And a few out from here, coming up, bits and pieces. You can detail this rather well, this background in this one. And the foreground, of course, will be on the front. and be very dark. It'll come dark in a moment. So this will be light back here. This will be all a light area back here. Oh, I didn't finish my water there. I'll tidy that up. Nice and dark along there. That's too dark. That's okay. Down here, tidy up there. Now with a fan brush, with a dark, and that's not a very big fan brush, quite a little fan brush, dark on one side, light on the other. We might bring that fern in front of that tree, like that. I'll just put a little bit in the water there. Bring them down into fern shapes. Not too much dark now, be careful. And have plenty of light bits showing through there, so you can see the lights. Because this is just across the creek, which is just close to us, very close, not far away. So it won't take it long, and you can get this brush stroke easy. Just load it with dark and light. Womp, womp. There we go, there's a fern. Fill in all the bits and pieces that are missed on your painting. Little bits of canvas showing. Drop it into a fern. I like that. Oh, I didn't end up with water back there. Doesn't matter. Make it up as you go along, like I do. That's the easiest way, unless there's something you want to copy, but you need to use the tools. You need to learn to use the tools before you can copy things, and this is a good way to learn to use the tools. There. And always, if you want something to look like water, you put a dark line underneath. I missed it there. If you put a dark line underneath, it'll look a little bit more like water. Then the reflections in there. It just helps a little bit. And I'll put a white line on there later. We'll see if we can make that bit look like water. I just want to show you that you can make anything look like water as long as you've got that light. Now turn that into grass. And that's our bank almost finished in this area. Very misty green. It's a bit too dark there, so I'll turn my brush over and lighten it up a bit. And I like those dark spots. Let's have a few more. It's a bit too dark. The paint's pretty thick there. That's okay. Don't dab until you've got nothing. Just leave it crispy like that. So up the top we need a bit of foliage. I've got a size 12 hog bristle round brush here, and I've got the dark on one side, which is the phthalo green on one side, and the white, but not pure white, on the other side. You get a bit of a bushy look. Of course the light is on the top of the brush, and I'm putting the dark on, and the light comes off automatically on the top. So that'll give us a little bit of foliage. This foliage on these trees is very little leaves usually. You have the big leaved things, but on these softwood trees there's usually very fine leaves. So do a fine little brush stroke. And be careful here, dab it on the things you don't like, but still keep this coming into the picture effect. Now I'm not real happy with this corner, so let's have something there. That looks better. There. And there's something missing there. Very fine, dab. And keep it crispy. A few darks and lights, especially in the corner, a few darks. Nothing about there, a little bit there. Not too much. Now that looks okay. We'll leave that bit. Let's have a look over the other side here. Bit in there. And the undercoat's doing a good job here. It looks okay too. So this is coming forward and meeting this. The undercoat is joining up with this foreground paint. Just down there, tom. A little bit dark in the corners. I do like this dark in the corner idea. It immediately stops you from looking out of the painting. Yeah, that's confusing enough up there. This bit here is missing. A few darks coming into the picture to bring your eye in. There. That's it. And a little bit of detail along there. That's too bright. I'll knock that back. It's too bright for the edge of the picture. We'll have a little bit of dark there too. Down in the water, a little bit more detail in the reflections. And over here, I'll unload my brush over here, get the paint off my brush and turn it into reflections here. There's a little bit of paint missing there. That's better. Now take your painting knife and clean it and run it through the green so you get it on the edge of the knife, so we can make a line like that. And on your bank, these are horizontal lines. Have some horizontal lines there. If you're coming down, if your water comes towards you, have horizontal lines moving towards you like this, moving slowly down towards you. That one slowly moves down, see? Again here, it looks like water here and water here. Sometimes you can't quite see if it's water or not. And then with the knife again, this time with white on it, put a white line under the water there. A few little ripples. I don't know why there's ripples, there's not usually wind in here, but it might be the sun glistening. A few ripples here and there. And that's our water. That's okay, except I really would like to see a brilliant white bit there, so I'll put it in. That's a bit better. I just need that white glow to get the effect I want. There. As long as they're horizontal or vertical brush strokes, it'll look like water. Touch up our white lines again. Might be a fish in there. So now with a fan brush, we need something here. Just put something in and then make something out of it. We have all sorts of ferns and things hanging here. And of course, if they're here, bring them into the picture so they slide into the picture. And then we'll run our big trees up in front of this. All types of ferns and things hanging into the picture here. Maybe I'll put a bit of light on top of some of them. Now I don't know what they are, some sort of bushes. Dab across there and a little bit of this stuff going up into the water. Of course you can use other colours here, you can put some warm yellow in with this, just a little bit if you want to. But keep this one, I like painting in the mono colour, it looks rather good. I'll put some red up there. Plenty of green, this is fun, this is the foreground. And your white, we won't touch the red yet, we'll keep it towards the bottom of the picture. Now we want big trees, and plenty of them if we can, and they're going to be exciting. Not too close to the edge, unless you want to come off the edge, you can do that. You have to be careful where you come off. Let's have one coming off to start with. And let's have him from right over here, he comes off like that. Here's a big branch. Right through there. Keep him dark. That's his darks. Okay. And I'll put a, let's see what happens when I put a bit of red on. Just a little tiny weeny bit. Ooh, that's different, isn't it? Okay. You see how I roll it off the edge of the brush? Just roll it off the edge of the brush. I'm turning the brush like that as I go. Turning the brush. It rolls off the edge. There. That was interesting. Well, while we got him there, I'll have a little brush of two colours. Let's give him a bit of detail, see what we're going to do with him. He can do that. Yeah. And it's not dark enough here because this is the foreground, this is right in front of us, right above our head. That dark there. And a little bit of red, let's see what happens. Not real keen on the red, if you do put it in, that's okay. Up there, something like that. Darken a few spots, maybe something up through here. Again through there. Nice curves. And a vine. Something like that. Pieces hanging off. Now, put them where you can see them. Another one here. Bit like that. And you see we get the three-dimensional look. That's by keeping our background very pale and coming forward with the darker colours. That little bit of red does help with the perspective. Now for another big tree. This was the one I was going to put in the first place before I got carried away with that. Let's just do it. There it is. Big tree there. We'll make it really big. Or maybe not. Maybe the really big one can be on the other side. Big butt. Darken down here. Get it nice and dark down here. Clean your brush. On there. When you clean your brush, don't clean it all in one spot. Move across the board. Unload your paint all over the place down the bottom here in horizontal brush strokes, not up and down like that, to give you this feeling that it's ground. Okay, red and white, and come down the inside of the tree. Just to be different. And I'll run some red up into that green, and that'll almost turn black. But don't use black on your paintings. We can always make a black just mixing a couple of colours, and then you get all those lovely tones rather than what looks like a hole in your painting. There we are, and a little bit of colour on the side. You can use brilliant colours here. Bit of red. There. And touch up under your tree with a little bit of detail. A few ferns. A bit of scrub. Oh, my brush gone hard. That's no good. That colour's muted into dirty colours. We'll leave it crispy. That's better. Slimmer brush. Maybe a little bit of grass here and there. And I often like to see things growing up the trees. Something like that. You can put leaves on if you want to, like this. And unload my brush again. Might as well use what's on the brush. So what do we put on this side? Maybe we need something there. We don't have to have something there. You can have a bush coming in. Let's have a bush coming in. I'll unload my brush down here. I'll get some of the dark here. Just unload some of the greens. And we'll get ready. We'll put a bush in that corner. And I'll darken it with a red. The red and green on the bottom. That's giving me a very dark butt. A very dark base to the painting. Very dark bottom. And the fan brush. Just quickly. You turn that in the grass before it dries. I'm working in acrylics. Mine dries rather quick today. Sometimes it dries slow, sometimes it dries quick. But you get used to whatever you're using. Same with your brushes. You get used to whatever brush you like. But don't use a brush forever until you can't use anything else. Just change brushes every now and then so you get used to different brushes for different situations. I use big brushes for big areas and small brushes for small areas. Now let's try my round hog bristle brush, load plenty of paint, white and dark, and we'll have a bush happening here. Something like that. That gives a bit of foreground. Yeah, that's those putting a tree in. There we are. We can bring that down quite a way. Now, I'll bring it into perspective by putting the branches in such a way that they come in front of the background like that. I have light and dark. There. So that brings it forward again. Not very neat. You can do a neater job. There we are. I paint fast. Of course, there's no need for you to paint fast. You take your time. You can load your brushes and do this as detailed as you wish. Once you learn the brush strokes, you can do it so fine and make it look so pretty. You can pretty it up so much like this. But don't detail the background too much. But if you're going to do any detail, do it about this position in the foreground. Very pretty like that. Let's do this red on here and see what happens. Yeah, that came good, didn't it? That's okay. Bit of red on the ground. And unload it down here. We'll have bushes everywhere. I won't go into the red too much. Plenty of stuff down here, not too much, just we'll fill it in and then we'll find something interesting to put in here. Maybe a log. Let's have a log. And on my knife I'll mix the red and the green together here, what was left on my palette, and I have white with a bit of green in there. Touch it on what will be the tip of the log. The light on the top, bring it down, you can wobble it round. Once you get it on there you're right, just relax then and put it on, squash it on and concentrate on the top of your log because the other bit disappears into the grass. You can lay there like that. I'll wipe my knife. I'll make it a bit wider, bringing the dark back into there a bit more. And I'll put a dark spot right here. Always looks good. There. And then I'll clean my knife and I'll load it with a little bit of the lighter greeny looking stuff. Looks like moss on the log. And we'll put it not all over the log, just there. And try and leave a hole in this end by going like this. And it looks like a hole in the end of the log there. Do. Now a bit of grass tied up around it, or anything, just a bit of something here. And for a log, it's always wise to have a twig. And because we've got water there, we can have a nice dark twig going up into the log like that. Up into the water, I mean, like that. And while we're there, let's try this. A dot, a dash, and then another dash. You got a bird. So we another one the same. Dot, blob, dash. A couple of little birds. And if you're lucky, you'll put your beak on. I don't know what they are. They look happy. So, I'll load a bit there. I just clean my brushes down here. I'm not worried too much about this. You can put whatever you like in there. Up the top though, I do need a couple of branches off this big tree, so just place them in. Maybe a couple more vines. Fill it in. So this area is a jungle up here. Very jungly up here. So what are we missing? Nothing. I think that looks okay. I think this spot here could have been a little bit darker to give me the contrast with the background. That could have helped a bit. See that? So keep an eye on that. You get your light and dark, you get your good perspective. So keep your darks here. So that's another way of going about painting our secret rainforest.